Welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar, and this is the Mayastar Podcast. I teach energy healing courses online through Mayastar Academy, share spiritual guidance and mystical musings on the Maya Muses blog, and provide healing, ritual, and spellcasting services. As a star-seeded shaman and professional witch, on the Mayastar Podcast, I release articles, discussions, and energy updates every week, covering energy healing, spiritual awakening, lightworkers, starseeds, magic, and New Age spirituality. This episode is being re-released with upgraded audio and new cover art to coincide with the launch of the new Mayastar Podcast YouTube channel. Please check it out and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the new content coming soon. And welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar, and today we have another unscripted video. In this unscripted video, I'm going to be talking about the latest Mayastar updates and answering some of your questions, including how to use black tourmaline for protecting your energy field, a couple of questions about Mayastar courses, and a question regarding how magic might be able to help somebody who needs some healing. As usual, I come armed with notes but without a script, so we'll be meandering around the topic and pursuing the scenic route to enlightenment. If this sounds interesting to you, stick around and spend the next half an hour with me as we explore these things together. If at any time you have questions or you feel that I've missed something, please put your questions in the comment section below or email me through my website at mayastar.net, and I'll be sure to get to your questions in a future episode. But I'm starting off today talking about the latest meditation track that I'm currently working on, and I'm in the process now of mixing it, having completed all the tracks that I want to include, and now it's just a case of putting everything together to sound beautiful. This week's meditation is a Lemurian rune song, and it's going to be focused on enhancing your manifesting work, bringing in abundance and prosperity. I was thinking of the 10 of Cups quite a lot while I was working on this one. So if you're familiar with the tarot and that 10 of Cups energy, the happy families, everything is complete, everything is successful, and everyone is joyful, and the sun is shining on everybody, that sort of vibe. So that's what I'm hoping you'll pick up from the latest meditation, which will be coming out on Wednesday in video format. Currently you can listen to this meditation through the Releases tab, and you can find the 12-hour looped live stream version on the Lives tab on the channel homepage. If you want to play it as background music for when you're working or even sleeping, but with the live stream replays and the video versions of the meditations, I place adverts only at the beginning and end of the videos so that you have an uninterrupted experience. And if you enjoy my meditation music, please remember to like it to boost the algorithm and get my work out to more people. But if you really like it, you can also find the thanks button below every video where you can make a donation to the channel, and all donations are going into my harp fund at the moment, as I'm saving up for a new musical instrument that I can bring more beautiful music to you. And lots of positive and healing vibrations. If you want to stay ahead of all my latest updates, please subscribe to my newsletter through the Mayastar website at mayastar.net, and I'll keep you updated of the latest video releases, special offers, courses, special magical workings, and everything you need to know. And now let's turn to the first question that I had this week. This is from somebody who has worked with Usui Reiki primarily, which they learnt from me in the past, but they were looking to work with a new system that was more intuitive, rather than using the hand positions of Reiki and activating the energy flow with symbols. They were looking to explore something that was a bit more unstructured and, to my understanding, aligned with the original Reiju system that was originated by Mikao Usui, which was before the hand positions were added and before the symbols were added. These were basically added to help teach people who didn't have a natural sensitivity to those energies, and people who weren't able to sense the different frequencies or manipulate energy naturally by working with the symbols and working with the hand positions. It was sort of like a foolproof method for people who needed to learn from scratch and develop their intuition and their basic skills. Because of that, Usui Reiki really is the best foundation for energy healing, and that's definitely the course I would recommend for somebody who's a complete beginner. But if you want to move on from Usui Reiki to work with a system that's a little bit more aligned with the Reiju system, I would recommend New Usui Reiki Energies. That's a system that I teach and is available through the website. It's a single attunement course, and it's intended to follow on from Reiki in a way. It is exactly like the Reiju system in that there are no symbols to use and there are no hand positions that you need to use, although you can do, and it is pure white light, exactly the same as when you connect with Reiki in the traditional way. So that would be one of my recommendations. But also I would recommend the Kundalini Reiki course, which is not the same as Usui Reiki, but it is a very intuitive system. The only thing I would say about Kundalini Reiki is that it can be a bit energizing and not quite as relaxing as Usui Reiki. Usui Reiki is probably the most relaxing energy healing system you can work with. People often fall asleep during an Usui Reiki session. I think actually that's partly because the hand positions are almost like a sort of hypnotic process. You sort of know what's coming next. You have a way of measuring the session, and if you're receiving the treatment after you've had a few treatments, you're more aware of how the energy will flow, how the movements go, and the next hand position and that sort of thing, and the different sensations that you can experience when you're receiving the healing. So I personally find Usui Reiki the best for relaxing and also for offering treatments to others. But if you want to experiment with an alternative, something more intuitive, something without hand positions and symbols, New Usui Reiki Energies or Kundalini Reiki would be my top recommendations. And the next question, somebody asks, do I need any qualifications to be able to take your courses? And the answer to that is no, you don't. My courses are written in such a way that I assume you're a beginner, and I provide you with the Book of Inspiration, which is a 180-page ebook that includes a number of articles that I've written over the years, but which are specifically intended for people who are beginners. So it's got information about the chakras, information about what energy healing is, information about how to ground your energy, information about the ascended masters, and just a general overview of what the healing journey and spiritual awakening path is all about. And because that's provided with all of my courses, even those courses that have been written by other people who may have assumed you had some basic understanding of energy work, you're not going to feel lost, because the Book of Inspiration ensures you have some grounding in energy work. And even if you are an experienced energy healer, I think it can provide a good refresher and perhaps have some ideas, other ways for you to look at things, build upon your existing experience and knowledge. It might further enhance your growth. There are a few courses that do have prerequisites. Most of these are on the Reiki Energy Healing course category menu, and it's because there's the Usui Reiki course, and then there are some systems that follow on, like Tibetan Soul Star Reiki, 7 Facets Sekim, and Gold Star Christ Activation. These all require you to be an Usui Reiki Master before you receive attunement. So for those ones, they are clearly marked, because on every course I do put prerequisites none or prerequisite Usui Reiki Master, that kind of thing. So you can easily identify those on the website. And the other exception is Gold Reiki, which follows on from Kundalini Reiki. So that one can't be purchased on its own, because you would need to be a Kundalini Reiki Master to be attuned to Gold Reiki. And on to the next question. This question was submitted through the live chat on one of the live streams from somebody who was looking to help somebody that they love and are close to, who is currently going through a difficult time, and they would like to be able to offer them some encouragement energetically, some support. And they were considering the option for the reversal spell, which is available through Maya Magical. So a few things I would say: if you are considering helping somebody because their discomfort makes you uncomfortable, that's not always the right thing to do. Do make sure that you're not interfering in somebody's healing process. Bear in mind that whenever we are healing, whenever we are growing as a person, it's an uncomfortable process, because we're doing things, becoming things that we are not familiar with. It's new territory, and that can create a lot of stress and upset. And during times of transition, magical interventions or energy healing work can be an excellent support, but it can't be used to take away your opportunity for growth. And because I always work in alignment with the universal law, which means that you are a conscious being that's divine in origin, and which should therefore be treated as sacred and encouraged to expand and express more of your divinity and your true nature. So in no way would it work for me to try to shut that down using magic. So what I would recommend is, if you felt that the reversal spell was something that might be helpful, you would need to speak to them about it. I wouldn't be performing a spell to affect somebody without their knowledge or consent, because that would be black magic. And so, obviously the situation would be, if you weren't prepared to talk to them about having this magical work done, or ask them if they wanted it to be done, then I think you would be answering your question as to whether you were interfering or not, because if you were thinking of going behind their back at all, that would be quite manipulative, and on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, there could be a karmic debt involved if your motivation was to manipulate somebody else's situation without their consent. I mean that sounds quite brutal, doesn't it? But I suppose it is. And because I do spells for people on a regular basis, I have to be very scrupulous. There's absolutely no way that I would perform magic on somebody without their consent. So yeah, don't ask me for curses and things like that. That's not something I do either. And love spells to make somebody love you, exactly the same thing. That's not something that I would do. But in every situation, there's usually a way that you can change the spell so that it works on your energy field in a way that can affect those around you, but in a subtle way, not in a manipulative way, not going into their energy field to make adjustments that will suit you. So, for example, rather than doing a love spell that would make another person love you, I would perform a love spell that would enhance those frequencies within your energy field and be more likely to magnetically draw somebody who matches that vibe into your life. So the magical work would be done on you, but it may have a subtle influence on the world around you and on other people, but not in the sense that it would be manipulating them. I like to think of these sorts of spells as being equivalent to the way you might dress up to go on a date, where you're just putting forward the best version of yourself, expressing the best version of yourself. And you can do that physically and you can do it energetically, and that's what those sorts of spells can do. When it comes to intervening for somebody you feel could do with some healing work or reversal of negative energy, like a reversal spell is quite a safe spell because they're only reversing any negative energy being directed at you. If there is no negative energy being directed at you, they're not reversing anything. So it's a safe spell as an alternative to a curse or anything like that. You don't have to make any assumptions with a reversal spell. It will only reverse negative energy if it's there in the first place. So but it can have a very healing effect because a lot of our negative connections siphon energy away, keep our energy depleted, and when things aren't flowing well, we don't tend to attract good things into our lives. We don't tend to have an easy time of it. So generally, a reversal spell not only is safe, but it does have a very healing effect if it's needed. And on top of the basic reversal spell, there is also the Nataraj Dance of Destruction Tantric Shamanic Ritual, which is a more comprehensive ritual solution that I offer. That's sort of equivalent to having 3 specific application spells worked at the same time. It allows me to focus on a specific goal and work the ritual for a general positive influence at the same time, so that those 2 components build upon each other and enhance the effect. That one has a wider sphere of influence than a specific application spell. And beyond that, there are magical intensives like the Banishing Intensive or the Killing Moon Karmic Reversal 30-day Ritual Intensive that are focused on clearing negative energy and dissolving or resolving negative karmic bonds wherever possible, and without restricting your potential for growth from necessary karmic bonds. Like sometimes the universe wants you to learn how to deal with a thing, and if that's the case, then my spell would not hinder your progress in the future by untying knots you were meant to learn to untie yourself. So you can also be reassured that with any of my workings that applies. Never do I tread on the toes of the universe. The next question has got quite a long answer. This was from somebody who was asking how I use black tourmaline for grounding. Black tourmaline is my favourite crystal to use for grounding, so I think I've probably mentioned it quite a lot in videos. And I used to carry a piece with me when I worked in an office. I used to carry a piece in my makeup bag, which didn't really have makeup in it, just had lip balm in it. But I used to carry that with me to work, and the black tourmaline was always there on my desk, countering all the negative vibes. There were a lot of them. But that's not how I work with it now. I don't seem to need it around as much as I did there. Well, obviously I was in a room full of a lot of people and I'm an empath, so I definitely needed it. But nowadays I don't need to use the black tourmaline as frequently as I did. But when I do use it, I actually keep it by the bed and use it in my meditation before bed. Now what I do, this is only one way of doing it. Mine's probably a bit of an elaborate procedure because it's what goes along with my regular routine and how I organise my regular meditations. But for this one, what I do is I create an orb of life, like an energy bubble, and I tend to sit in the lotus position for meditations and sit on the floor for meditations, although that's not necessary. If you're not comfortable sitting on the floor, you can sit in a chair to meditate, that's not a problem. But what I tend to do is, while sitting in the lotus position, I place the black tourmaline on my feet, and then I just relax and allow that energy to fill the bubble and my own energy to expand to fill the bubble that I've created with the orb of life. The orb of life is an essential course, I would say, for anyone who wants to practice energy healing. Even the most basic forms of energy healing would benefit from you learning this technique. So it is one of the courses I would recommend to everyone. It's more of a energy healing tool than a specific energy, because you can create the orb of life and fill it with any kind of energy and program it specifically for whatever purpose. So in this instance, I'm not really programming the orb, I'm just creating the orb and then surrounding myself with it, with the crystal, allow my energy to expand into the orb and feel the energy of the crystal expand into the orb, so that the two energies are merging. And then when I want to close that session, I place the crystal outside of the orb, so on the floor, usually in front of me by a couple of feet, just so that it's outside. And then I shrink the orb down to become a second skin. So then it's like my energy, I'm bringing my energy back into my body and the energy of the black tourmaline into my body for grounding and protection. I think this sort of technique is important if you are somebody who experiences symptoms of being ungrounded, or if you are an empath and you haven't learnt to manage your gift, because it can be very hard for you to keep your energy anchored to your body. I'm sure I'm not the only empath who started astral travelling at a ridiculously young age, and I think when you do, I think you do start finding it kind of difficult to anchor yourself into your physical body, and you have to learn to do it consciously to really get the hang of it. But it's very important that you do that, because if you don't manage your gift, you're taking on other people's energy all the time and you can really lose sight of yourself. You've got to be quite aware of other people's influence and don't always be giving people the benefit of the doubt. I think mainly the problem that empaths have is an energetic lack of boundaries, but that energetic lack of boundaries often leads you to form deep relationships, spiritual connections, emotional connections with people who really aren't suitable and perhaps don't even deserve your time at all. It's hard to differentiate because you're creating an energetic connection, being able to decide whether this person is worthy of a place in your life and whether you actually like them and that kind of thing. It can really blur the lines. So I think this sort of exercise is great for an empath learning to create an energetic boundary for themselves. And if you are an empath and this is something you struggle with, I would recommend doing it daily if possible, and learn other techniques that can help you to do the exact same things. So things like Archangel Gabriel's empath encoding, the light sanctuary activation, dark moon mother protection, any of the protective energy courses, Goddess Diana's mirror shield activation, to help you to prevent those problems that occur when you're not holding on to your energy. It's not anchored into your body, and you can deplete yourself as well. I mean, I think empaths often have the problem that they want to make other people happy because they feel other people's discomfort and upset and disappointment and that kind of thing. But sometimes you do need to disappoint other people. You do need to prioritize your own boundaries. You've got to learn to set healthy boundaries. And really, that is a case of learning to say no, learning to decide when enough's enough, learning to decide when somebody's intentions don't vibe with yours, and for the sake of your soul, you're not prepared to compromise. You've got to practice this, though. It doesn't come naturally to empaths. So I think energy healing and meditation techniques can be really helpful in this regard, and pretty much vital for an empath, but also for anyone who's sensitive. Actually, I would say it also would be helpful for anyone who tends towards anxiety or racing thoughts, because if you're the kind of person who tends to go to bed feeling a little bit too hyped, and then you get into bed and immediately start overthinking things, having a routine where you're completing a grounding exercise before bed is going to be really helpful. And you can also find the grounding meditation, grounding visualization exercise on this channel or podcast as a 20-minute meditation, I believe. Is it 15 or 20-minute meditation, grounding meditation? And you can also find it on the Mayastar website at mayastar.net in the articles section, where you'll also find a lot of articles about energy healing, spiritual awakening, energy work, and information about starseeds, lightworkers, shamanic energy, working with animal medicine, lots and lots of things. So if you have any areas of interest, check out those, and also search on the channel or podcast for Mayastar articles, because there's bound to be something that will inspire you. And the last thing I want to talk about today is the current special offer for a Mayastar course that started today and will be available for the next 7 days. And it's for the starseed psychic activations. This is one of the courses that I channeled, and it's a series of 10 energy attunements that allow you to connect with the collective unconscious in a more open way. I like to explain it as changing your connection from dial-up to broadband so that you have a clearer connection with those energies, so that you can start to interpret symbols and get more detail and clarity in your channeling work. And channeling work doesn't have to be like when I'm channeling music or I'm channeling courses sort of thing. It can literally just be when you're exploring your imagination, learning techniques like lucid dreaming or astral travel to enhance your skills, or just developing your skill in interpreting your intuition by increasing the clarity of your connection, you can pick out more symbols and understand them more because you receive a greater energetic impression. It's just a way of enhancing your experience of working with those energies, and it's one of the most popular starseed attunements that I provide because it's so versatile, like enhancing your connection to your psychic senses. It's an important part of your energy work. It's an important part of your spiritual practice. It can enhance your meditation work and your creativity and other experiences. It could even enhance your relationships if you allow your intuition to develop and you listen to your intuition when it comes to forming connections with other people. So the Starseed Psychic Activations is available on the website at the special offer price for the next 7 days, and if you want to stay on top of the special offers, don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. And I think that's everything that I wanted to talk to you about today. I hope it's been interesting and informative and that you're feeling inspired. And if you have questions, if you feel that I missed anything, if you wanted more detail on anything that I covered today, put it in the comments and we'll keep the conversation going at another time. And it really helps. The people who are giving me these questions, thank you, because it really, really helps me put these videos together. Otherwise, trying to think from another person's point of view, the things that they would want to know. And not always great at that. So it does help when people are asking their specific questions. It really helps me to put these videos together, and it keeps me on my toes as well, because it means that I can't predict what's coming up next. So please keep the questions coming. Your questions are making this channel much more informative. The conversation would be a bit one-sided without you. And that brings us to the end of this episode. So thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope you've had a good week, and I hope you're about to have another one. And I hope you'll come back here next week for some more mystical meanderings with me. But in the meantime, I wish you peace, prosperity, and progress in all you do. With blessings.